Hey guys, the Jungle Explorer here, and today I am going to be breaking in this Benjamin Trail NP air pistol. Okay guys, you can see here it says $35. I bought it on clearance at Walmart a couple of years ago. I was just buying something else. I saw this was the last one, and at the time they were selling for around $150, so it was too good of a deal to pass up. I snatched it up. And I don't even think they make this thing anymore. I think it's discontinued. But, you know, you might find one somewhere in a pawn shop or on a garage sale or online and be wondering how it performs. Well, I'm just going to run it through some initial break-in. I've never had this out of the box. I've never shot it once, so it's brand spanking new, even though I did buy it a couple of years ago. I've just had it stored. And I found it the other day and said, you know what, I'm going to give it a try and see how it works. And maybe other people might be interested in seeing how this thing performs. So I'm going to start out by doing initial testing on it to see how it performs right out of the box. And then I'm going to do a break-in where I'm going to shoot a lot of pellets through it to kind of smooth it out a little bit. And then do a post break-in testing on it to see if it improved or if it's still shooting the same. So let's break it out of the box here and see what this thing looks like. Again, I just bought it because it was such an amazing deal on clearance. And never actually shot it before, so it's an exciting day to get this thing out of the box here. All right, still in the plastic here. Okay, I'm filming outside, so there's ambient sounds. There's going to be a jet flying over here in a second. Let's look at it here. Okay, it's heavy. It's got some weight to it. We've got a safety here. Let's see the sights. Fiber optic sights on it here. Well, let's cock it. It cocks pretty hard, man. Had to actually put it over my knee and hit this barrel to get it to cock. So I've got some Crosman 7.4 grain pointed pellets here, and there's a tree right here. Just gonna test it out for the very first shot ever out of this gun. Let's see what happens. Wow, that's not loud at all. Wow, that's actually very quiet. Shot into that tree, didn't. The trigger, it's got a long trigger pull on it. Hopefully that'll smooth out just a little bit. But I was pretty impressed. I was expecting a lot louder crack out of it and a lot more jump. It really was quite silent there. So I'm going to go ahead and run some pellets over the chronograph here, and let's see what it does there as far as speed and different pellets and weights. Okay, for this initial stage here, I'm going to be using 4 different pellets. First, I'm going to use the Crosman Premier Pointed, which is a 7.4 grain pellet. Then I'll be using the Crosman Premier Hollow Point, which is a 7.9 grain pellet. Then I'll be using the JSB Stratons, which is an 8.26 grain pellet. And last, I'll be using the JSB Diabolo's Exact, which or an 8.44 grain pellet. So we're going from 7.4 to 8.4 with 2 different weights in between, and see how this thing performs with these different weights initially coming out of the box. Let's see what they do. We'll be shooting 5 pellets each over the chrony, so let's see what we get. Now, it's pretty difficult to cock when the gun is like this, but it comes with this little cock assist thing. So you just insert this down in here like this, and then push it up like that, and then we can cock it a little bit easier. So let's start off with pellet number 1, the Crosman 7.4 grain, and let's shoot 5 pellets over the chrony and see what we get here. Okay, so we got about between 510 and 525 on the Crosman pointed 7.4 grain. Now we're going to switch to the Crosman hollow point 7.9 grain. Let's see what they do. Okay, so we got about 480 to 490 out of the 7.9 grain pellets. Let's switch over to the JSB Stratons, which is an 8.26 grain pellet, and see what they do. All right, so we got about 460 on average out of the 8.26 grain. So now we're going to go to our heaviest pellet today, which is the JSB 8.44 grain, and see what they do. Okay, so we got about 440 on average out of the JSB exact 8.44 grain. So obviously the heavier the pellet, the velocity drops down. I will throw the FPE calculations up on screen for each one of these pellets, and that'll give you kind of idea which one is the best one to use so far. But now I'm going to break this in and shoot, I'm going to run about 100 of these 7.4 grains over there just to smooth it out and get some break in out of it. So let's go ahead and get at that and see what it does. So I lost count of how many shots I took. It took a while to shoot all that. My target camera went down there for a little bit. I caught a few shots there at the end. But anyways, yeah, that's about 100 plus what I shot over the Crony, so about 120. It seemed like the faster I shot, the hotter the barrel got. It began to lose a little power. So I've let it sit here for, probably 5 minutes here. This is pretty warm here, so let's go ahead and see. Now, not that anybody would be shooting it that fast. I mean, in the wild, you're going to be shooting a cold gun. But let's see what it's going to do hot, because it did seem like I was losing some elevation on it. Now, to get this thing to cock, it's real hard to cock it like this. I basically just hit it like that on my knee. That makes it real easy. Whoa. Twisted my shooting table here. Okay, I want to throw that up on screen there. Ronnie, let's see what it's done after about 100 shots as fast as I could shoot them here. See what our velocities are on this 7.4 pellet here. Yeah, 507. See, it has dropped quite a bit from when it was in its cold state. Let me shoot one more. I may need to let this thing cool down a little bit before I do the final velocity test, because it seems like it does lose velocity, shooting a whole bunch like I did. Yeah, let's go ahead and let it cool down a little bit. I'll come back and see what it does when that spring is all cold, because I've been cocking and shooting the heck out of this thing. All right, so I'm back out the next day. The gun's had all night to set, and so I'm going to turn my Crony on here. and let's see if it has stabilized or what's happening with this gun. Yesterday it lost quite a bit of velocity in the break-in. With this pellet right here, it was shooting about 520 before the break-in, and then afterwards it was down about 450 around there. It was just jumping all over the place. Hopefully everything is calmed down, and let's see what we get on this first one here. Okay, 459. I was hoping it'd go back up, but let's try another one here. 420. Wow, 459, 420. That's a 40 FPS jump. That's not good. Let's try this. Another one, a third one. 430. Let's try one more. It's kind of windy today. 421. Or 321. Oh my gosh, what was that? 321. All right, let's try here one more. 353. What in the world? Went from the 400s to the 300s. Let's try again. 326. .327. Now it's lost about 200 FPS over yesterday. 421. Just jumping all over the place. We're jumping 100 feet per second. 416. 427. 402. 330. Well, I'll tell you what, I am really disappointed. I was hoping for better performance out of this thing, but I mean, it's already a low power. This is the lightest pellet I have at 7.4 grains. The box says right here 625, but I'm sure that's with something like maybe a 5 grain pellet. It was shooting about 520 yesterday with these pellets right here when I first started out, but after the break-in, is now jumping all over the place. The spring appears to be just flopping around in there. I now see why they sold it for $35. Really, it's not trustworthy. With that kind of FPS jump and that low of a velocity, it would not be accurate. I shot a whole bunch yesterday and I was able to get some accuracy out of it, but it's just getting down in a range where it would not be useful for anything, especially any kind of hunting. At 330 FPS, I mean, there'd be very few things other than a mouse that it would kill. So just not reliable. And you know, so there you go. That's what this test was about, was to kind of give you an idea whether you should consider this thing right now. My opinion is, if you happen on one of these, just pass it by. It is not worth it. It's a cool looking gun. I mean, it actually is pretty nice. I really enjoyed shooting it, and was really hoping that it would perform a lot better than this. There may be some fixes to actually improve this thing to some degree, but I don't know. If I'm going to invest it, I'll look online, and if I do find some way to fix this and make it a better pistol, I may post a follow-up video for a mod on this thing to make it better. But right now, as it is, I'm going to say this is a pass, and you know, it's a toy, and it was worth $35, maybe. So, alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, this is the Jungle Explorer signing out.